everyone. Thank you for spending some time with me today on the How to Life podcast. I'm Dr. Laura Jaggett, and today's show is fantastic. Today is purely an inspirational show. My guest is celebrity artist Pete Castro, or as he's known by his moniker, CastroART. He's made quite a name for himself in the art world, but his decision to do this was made later in his adult life. But that did not stop him from pursuing his dreams. He shares his story about the journey that led to the vision, the decision, the execution, and the persistence that has catapulted him to where he is now. If you have a dream, or if you're changing careers, or you're reinventing yourself, whether it's later in life or at the beginning of your adult life, surround yourself with inspiring stories and people who have actually done it. It's scary to face the unknown, so look to those who were once where you are now and let their light guide you. Pete is incredibly humble and sincere, and his kind encouragement is so uplifting. You'll see what I mean. Let's listen in now. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Laura.
Thank you so much for joining me today to share your story.
Oh, thank you for having me, Laura. I mean, this is such an honor, and I'm just so excited.
I'm very interested to hear about how you made your way to where you are right now. You're currently a professional artist, yes?
Yes, I am. I do this for a living, and it's full time.
But that wasn't always the case.
No, I was a lost soul for a while in the beginning. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. How did this all begin? Like, how far back were you a child when you discovered your love of art?
Yeah, actually, when I was 5 years old, living in the Bronx in New York, I was always home. I didn't go to school because of my asthma. And so I was always stuck at home. And I just had a passion when I started watching Bob Ross on TV. And from there, I would just draw. I would just try to imitate him with my crayons, trying to paint just like him. It made me happy when I was suffering and through asthma, and I was a sad kid with no friends. So painting was my friend.
How did you know that this was something you had a talent for, or was it just something that you loved doing at that time?
At the time, I don't remember. I remember my mom, like every mom out there, praises their kid. Oh, this is great. But I really didn't. I just loved doing it. It wasn't because I was, getting praise, but it was more because I just love reading comic books. I love drawing the comic book characters, and it was a passion from 5 years old.
And how did it help you throughout your childhood, or did it?
It actually did help. I remember when I moved over to San Diego from New York at age 12, I was this shy young kid, and I really didn't know how to, make friends or anything. But one time I was in class and I was drawing MC Hammer, Bart Simpson in class, and it was all these kids started surrounding me. And so they just started like, wow, that's so dope. That's amazing. That's so cool. And after that, I really became a popular kid after that.
So when you were done with high school, did you ever consider doing something as a profession using your talent as an artist?
Actually, no, that never cross my mind. I mean, in society, you just grow up hearing you're going to starve as an artist. So that kind of subconsciously I never thought of becoming an artist. I mean, I knew I had this passion and I saw it as a hobby, but I never even imagined doing this as a profession.
So then what did you do in the early years of your adulthood?
Oh, I was just like any young guy who didn't have a place in life, wondering what my purpose was, doing valet jobs at the Palms. I was working at Subway. I had these odd jobs at a spa, sales jobs. I mean, every job you could think of, I had it.
Are you still doing art for yourself during this time?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was drawing. I got into painting in 2007 because I was always just drawing as a kid, just sketching. But actual painting, it was in 2007. And I discovered that, and I taught myself. I'm a self-taught artist.
What prompted you to discover painting?
Well, I remember from my early age watching Bob Ross, and that I was like, let me give it a try. Let me dive into it and see what painting is all about.
At this time, did you start considering or ever think about maybe I could do something in the art world?
Well, the way it happened was I was on Facebook, social media, and I said, you know what, let me share this piece of art. And for any artist out there, they know the experience of being insecure. You're like, should I share this? Maybe it's not great. Maybe it's kind of, iffy. But I decided to just have the courage to just put it out there. And that's where everything changed,
So I
basically.
take it you got some good feedback.
I actually did. I was surprised, and people started asking me if I was selling my art, how much. So that was an incredible feeling itself.
How old were you at that time?
I must have been in my 30s at the time. So if you fast forward from when from that young age of drawing, later at my age 30, that's when I started really taking it serious.
So before you got to that moment, how are you feeling as far as careers?
I was lost, Laura. I didn't really know what to do with my life. I think I had conversations with my wife at the time, like, what should I do with my life? And actually, when I was working at a nightclub as security, and I hated that job. So I was just standing there like, what do I do with my life?
So you put it out there, got some
I,
good feedback.
yeah, well, when I started to get the feedback on social media, that's when I decided maybe I should take this further.
What did you intend to do?
Well, I was at the nightclub doing my security work, and I stood there thinking, I hate this job. So the other part of me was like, I love painting. I'm getting such a great reaction on social media. Why not go after this and take it serious, try to make it full time? But the process to get there was an interesting one.
What was that process?
Well, first I had to tell my wife I wanted to quit my job. So I feared for my life was part of that.
Yep.
So, but I had to devise a plan to get out of it that would make my wife comfortable.
Mhm.
So what I did was I started saving up. It was a high-end nightclub. So I would start saving all these tips I was getting from customers that got there, they would tip me really well. So I started saving that as a way to tell my wife, look, I want to quit this job, but I saved some money that'll hold us until I can actually start making money in my career.
That's very smart. How long was that process? How long was that plan before you actually executed?
I think it took about a couple of years to save up a good amount of money. And it was enough just to say, look, this will hold us for some months until I get going. But even during when I was pursuing my career, there was still struggle.
What you were painting during that time, did you have a plan for it or were you still painting for the moment?
I was still painting in the moment. I really didn't have a plan on how this was going to work. All I knew was I had to connect with the right people. And there were some people in my lives that guided me and that changed my life completely. For instance, I met this lady. She was in marketing, and I told her, "Look, I want to get my work out there. What can I do?" And she actually gave me this helpful example. Can I share that example?
Please do.
Okay, so she told me there's three things you got to remember. There's marketing, there's advertising, and there's branding. So she gave me a really cool example, and I never heard this example ever. She said, picture yourself in a bar. You're the single guy, and you see a girl at the bar. You want her to know who you are. So marketing is when if you were to go up to this girl and say, hey, you sell yourself. Hey, I'm a great guy. I love, taking long walks on the beach. That's marketing. Advertising is you have your wingman with you at the bar, and he says, let me go talk to this girl for you. So that's advertising. Hey, I have a buddy here. He's a great guy, super sweet guy. So that's advertising. Branding is where you want to be. She said, you're at the bar sitting and girls come up to you. They know who you are. That's branding. And
Mhm.
that changed my life completely. So I said, that's my goal. I have to get to the point where people know who I am.
So let's jump forward now. The time has come to take the leap. Were you afraid?
Oh, I was frightened out of my boots, Laura.
Okay.
I was so scared.
Had a little
Uh,
self-doubt, some insecurity maybe.
so many insecurities. And what kind of emphasized the insecurities was when I went out there to promote my work, I went door to door like a Bible salesman. I went to every gallery saying, hey, this is my art, this is my portfolio. Could you give me a show? And oh, Laura, I had so many harsh criticism. People said no. They said your art is horrible
Oh,
in so many ways. They say your work is out of proportion. I mean, these guys were brutal. They were brutally honest. And so that for anyone could just make you want to crawl under a bed and cry.
so how did you shrug it off?
Well, my passion was too strong. I love to paint. And I said, you know what? That may be the case where my art isn't great, but you know what? I'm going to keep creating. I'm going to keep creating till it gets better, till it evolves. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to show these people they're missing out.
So what did you do in the meantime? You went back to the drawing board, literally?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. I literally went to the drawing board. I drew, I painted. I studied, just like on YouTube, I studied some things. I went to art museums. I looked at other people's work. I did so much research to get better.
Were you still showing your stuff on your social media accounts?
I was. And actually, what I did was I reached out to local businesses and I said, hey, can we negotiate? I mean, I don't have the money right now. I'm a struggling artist. Can I have a show at your venue? And maybe I'll give you a cut for my proceeds. I'll provide the drinks, the wine, I'll do all that. So I was hustling at the time.
You were determined to just get your artwork out there, whether it was social media, going door to door. Was that received well, by the way?
Yeah, I had a few business owners that, of course, did reject me. There were some awesome people that I met along my journey that helped me to have shows, I'm so thankful to them to this day for what they did. And yeah, this definitely opened doors as far as people started to see my art and say, "Oh, I know this work. I've seen this work before." And actually, I started doing a farmers market along the way. I
Mhm.
even opened up a swap meet, a shop at the swap meet, and I was trying to show my work there. So I've done it all. I tried it all, Laura.
Is this your personality, Pete? Are you kind of a adventurous go-getter, an extrovert, so to speak?
You know what? I'm both an extrovert and I'm an introvert. Me and my wife, we laugh because when I have to become an extrovert, I will. But I would really prefer just to be inside painting and being by myself. It's really weird. But yes, I am a hustler extrovert.
So this was just something that you knew you were going to do, you were comfortable doing it. And how did you deal with the rejection?
It was tough. Really was tough. You start to doubt yourself. You do have thoughts like, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should quit. But there were so many things in my life. I had a supportive wife. I had a strong support system, but also I had the passion, and the passion is what kept pushing me. And also, there was an artist named Justin Bua who I never met in my life. I never knew who he was, but I saw his work online, and his work just inspired me, and that would make me want to create myself. I would have this desire. I would see his work and I'd say, I got to keep creating.
What kind of artist is Justin Bua?
Justin Boo is a urban artist. He's considered the godfather of urban art.
And you related to this because this is your genre as well.
Yes, I grew up in New York City in the Bronx, and my influence was seeing graffiti all over subway trains and buildings, and that's my influence. Yeah.
So you have some support from your loved ones, but you have a lot of rejection from the public. How do you keep going when that happens?
Well, I was pretty much, I had to make it happen because in between the journey of struggling financially as the savings I had built was slowly withering away and I didn't have any money, my wife was putting the pressure on me and she was like, okay, are you going to get a job? Where's the money coming in? So it was pretty much, I had no choice. I had to make this happen. I'm not really good at multitasking, so I knew I couldn't get a job and focus on this art. So this for me was a decision of do or die. I had to go at it 100%.
That's good to know about yourself.
Yeah,
And also, when you make a decision like that, I think focusing 100% is going to get you there quicker than if you
absolutely.
split your energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Laura.
Did you have a short term plan, like a 1 year plan, a 5 year plan, a long term goal? Or were you just taking it step by step?
To be honest, Laura, I was taking it step by step. I did not really know what to do except for, like I said earlier, I had to brand, and I knew that was my goal, was to get my work out there so much that people knew who CastroART was.
Tell me why you call yourself Castro Art rather than just Pete Castro.
Well, there's a little hidden thing. My father came to this country from South America, and he was a janitor his whole life. And so there's a special meaning behind just naming myself Castro, is that I wanted to shine light on my father, who didn't have much, but he created a lot of love for the family, and he worked super hard. So that was almost a tribute to him. And but also in graffiti, you always have a tag, a nickname in graffiti. So that was also part of it. I wanted to just have one nickname, and that's where I came up with CastroART. Just very simple and a tribute.
When did you first make money as an artist? And how did that feel?
Well, that came later. I'll share this really quick with you. one day I decided to lock myself in my office, in my art studio, and just send out tons of portfolios to every gallery in the United States. And I even reached out to overseas galleries. And what happened was, months later, I didn't hear anything. But then one afternoon, I got an email, and it was from an art gallery in New York City, in Chelsea. I was so excited, Laura. I literally started crying because after everything I had put into this, with so much hard work, so much criticism, the moment I got that email from an art gallery, I mean, that's the center of the art world.
Yeah.
So that broke me down to tears, and I was so thankful. And that's actually what opened doors to other galleries, because when I started going to galleries afterwards, they actually listened to me. And when I said, yeah, I'm having a show in New York, that is when I started going into galleries, and that's where I started making money.
Just goes to show you how easily influenced people can be. So
Exactly.
keep going. Don't give up. Don't take somebody's word for it. Take your own word.
Absolutely. Just if you feel it in your heart and it's your passion, go for it.
How old were you when you got this notice from Chelsea, New York Art Gallery?
I want to say I was in my late 30s. I was just gonna turn 40.
All right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you spent a few years getting to that branding point.
Yes.
Had you sold any work privately?
Yeah, I did at the farmers markets, at the swap meet, and just through social media. I sold my art very cheap.
But
Yeah.
you were making money, which was the goal. How did that feel?
It felt amazing. Well, even that excitement never goes away. I remember when I sold my first mural for so much money, I was like, wow. I was like, you want to pay me this much for my mural? I mean, that was exciting itself. So it never stops.
So tell me about the show in Chelsea. How did it all go down?
Oh, it was so much fun. I mean, it was a group show, and it was in Chelsea, and it was such an amazing experience. I mean, there were so many people there, and my family, because I actually have family who live in New York City, they were there at the show, and that was an amazing feeling. And just it was such a, you felt like a real artist, because it's in New York City, and that's every artist's dream, to have a show in New York City. So that in it itself was an amazing experience.
And what doors did it open up for you afterward?
It opened so many new galleries. I had a show inside the Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. I had a show in West Hollywood, California. I had a show in Scottsdale, Arizona. And another one in Las Vegas, in downtown Summerlin. There was an art gallery there. I had a show there as well. So it actually opened up so many doors.
And did you meet any influential people from those doors opening?
I actually did. I reached out to Justin Bua, who I spoke about earlier, who is my idol, my influencer.
Tell me how you did that. How did you reach out to him? How do you even contact him?
Well, it was through Instagram. I follow him through Instagram, and I sent him a DM and said, look, you have impacted my life in a way you'll never, ever, ever really know. And so I said, I had a show in New York City, and I've had shows here and here and here, but you are the one who pushed me during my struggles. And he replied, and I got so excited. I was like a fangirl. I was so excited. It was like Backstreet Boys reached out to me.
Uh-huh.
I was like, well, this guy answered me, and he laid out everything. He was giving me advice. He actually complimented my work, which is every artist's fear. You meet your idol, and they're just going to be a really mean person to you.
They're going to hate what you're doing.
Yeah, but he was actually super cool, and he gave me some inspiring advice, and he complimented my work, and it was an epic experience, Laura.
Has that helped you at all?
It has. And the cool story about this with meeting Bua is I would never have imagined in my life that years later, after we talked, Justin Bua was having a show in Las Vegas. He was going on tour. He was going to LA, all these shows. And he reached out to me and said, hey, do you want to be a part of my show?
Oh my gosh.
I almost fainted. Like, I was like, really? So I actually had a dual art show with Justin Bua.
So you're kind of on a roll now at this point.
I'm super blessed.
What kind of pieces have you done? What are some other highlights?
Well, currently I'm working on a top secret project, which I will share eventually. I can't right now because I signed a disclosure. I wouldn't share anything.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is, but it's epic, and I will share that with you, Laura, when it happens. But also, I've got some contracts from some companies like U.S. Bank, where they're hiring me every month to create tons of shoes for their employees, their executives. So I've got so many projects going on, Laura, that I really can't believe it. It's like, you put that out there, and eventually the business comes to you.
What type of mediums do you work with? You said shoes, and you said jackets, and you said murals.
Yeah, in my career, I don't want to limit myself, and I love to explore different mediums. So I've done it all. I mean, well, I'm sure there's some things I haven't done yet, and I'm sure I will do, but I've done canvases, walls, mannequins, guitars, shoes, jackets. Yeah, I've done quite a bit of different mediums.
Do people ask you to put your art on certain things, or is this your own idea to do shoes or jackets?
The way it's happened is people approach me with these things, and I've had some experience where you get that fear of, oh wait, I've never done this. Should I do it? Can I do it? And once you decide I'm going to do it either way, I'm going to figure out how to do it. That will change your path tremendously. So yeah, I dived into it 100%, and I made mistakes, I failed, but I fixed it and I figured it out.
Where can we find your stuff right now?
It's currently in Solana Beach, California. There's an art gallery called Exclusive Collections Gallery, and they have my artworks there.
What does your art say? Do you create on what you want to do, or if someone commissions a piece, how do you put it together?
Well, it's different when I'm painting something just for myself to when it's commissioned. When I'm doing something that's for myself and just because I want to create, I always make sure it's inspiring. And this is one thing we can circle back to is intention. But the one thing is when I create, I want to inspire. And that in itself makes the experience even better. And the art comes out better. And I now have a signature style, which is urban and graffiti style. And that's everyone recognizes my work because of that. But when I'm doing a commission work, I listen to the buyer, what they want, and I ask them, is it okay if I splash a little bit of my signature style to your piece? And they say, yes, please do. But even if it's commission, I always want to make sure it's inspiring every time.
You've had some high profile commissions, have you not?
Yes, I've had some epic clients. Neil Sean, lead guitarist of Journey. Yeah, he purchased two jackets for him and his wife. I've had rapper Riff Raff, who commissioned two jackets for his music video. Boys to Men, they wanted, Wanye Morris from Boys to Men wanted to decorate his recording studio. So I actually created a 4-panel set for his recording studio, and that was amazing. Tito Jackson from the Jackson 5, David Arquette, the Hollywood royalty actor, amazing experience. Such a sweet guy. He's such a nice guy.
So, Pete, I feel very lucky that I happen to have a commissioned piece from you.
Oh, I'm so honored, Laura. When you reached out to me, I was so honored, so happy because I think you are a special, amazing person.
I want to tell you the story of how that came about because I don't think I told you at the time, and I'll tell everyone in the audience here.
Okay.
About 4 years ago, I saw some of his work on social media, and something moved in me, an awareness that said, commission a piece, which is something I've never done. And I'm not one to normally do things without thinking them through, but it was a very strong feeling. And I remember, Pete, when that feeling came to me, I just contacted you. Maybe I think it was through your social media or Facebook or something,
Yes.
without really thinking about it. I just said, hey, I've seen some of your stuff and I want to commission a piece. And after I did it, I was thinking, okay, what did I just do? And you got back to me right away.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what I wanted, really. So you started asking me questions and you said, what's important to you? What's significant to you?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm a chiropractor, so I take care of a lot of people. I heal a lot of people. And
Yes.
my name in Hebrew is Leora, which means light. And
Right.
I told that to you and you said, I got it. And then, a few weeks later, when you created the piece, you entitled it I Am Light, which I thought was awesome. I had this piece for 4 years. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was about. But now that I've created this show, I had no idea I was going to do How to Life at that time. And
That is
I had no idea. I had no intention of that. It comes full circle now, Pete. That piece, the title, what I'm doing, and I love it.
Oh my God, Laura, well, you were one of my favorite clients, and I'll tell you why. Because your whole purpose was it was inspiring. And like I said earlier, I love to paint inspiring pieces. So when you reached out to me and your story and everything, it was so inspiring. I was so excited. I was so giddy. I mean, so you were my favorite client because your whole concept of your piece is inspiring, it's light, and it's who you are. And that's what I love about you. And
Thank you, Pete. I really
yes.
appreciate that. I enjoy helping people. I enjoy lighting the way, illuminating ideas and things, and just helping people feel better in general. And that piece is actually on my Instagram account. It was the first piece I put on the account, which was my personal account. I've changed it to How to Life Now. So if you want to
Wow.
see that piece, go to my Instagram account, which is called How to Life Now. You'll see it down there from back in 2016. So I'm going to bring that one back up to the top and show that one again.
What a great Instagram introduction to what you're about. It's the perfect introduction.
It is very interesting how it all worked out. Everything
That's
worked
amazing.
out perfectly. You're
That's
always at the
amazing.
perfect moment, Pete, always.
Thank you. It was such an honor. Thank you, Laura.
You know, Pete, when I commissioned this piece from you back in 2016, I saw your social media accounts and what you were putting out there. And I think at that time, what you're telling me now, you were still on the rise. You hadn't even had the Chelsea show. But just the way you presented yourself, I thought you were a rock star right then and there. And you just had it in your mind that you were.
Fake it till you make it, 100%. And
And it's
that's
not really faking it because you believed it in your mind, and that is how you presented, and you influenced the way everyone saw you.
right, right. And there's that you want people to see what you want them to see. And and that was kind of affirming what I wanted in my life. I wanted to be successful. So I always presented that, and it actually became true just through, and I had this vision, Laura, the whole time throughout my career, as I would picture myself somewhere with paparazzi taking pictures, and that vision was part of what kept me thinking that way,
It was
always.
so real in your mind, in your
Yeah,
imagination, that
yeah,
it had no choice but to actually show up in your
absolutely.
reality, and it did.
Yes.
You're having these shows, there's cameras going off, celebrities are commissioning you to do pieces for them, high
Yes.
profile people. And that's exactly what you saw. And it came true because you kept that vision
Vision is
alive.
vision is so powerful, Laura. Your mind is so powerful if you allow it. So envisioning is the first thing I would say to any person trying to pursue their dreams is envision. It's like a scrapboard. You see that, but it's to create a vision in your head. Once you have that vision, it's gonna it's gonna launch you.
And I think that vision's important too, because it's your vision. No one else can control that but you. So if
Yes.
somebody comes into your experience who's like, I don't like it. It's like, oh, well, you weren't part of my vision anyway. So off you go.
I love that. I
And
love
then
that.
you start drawing the people that
Yes.
buy into your vision, that believe you.
Yes. Weed out the haters. Keep the ones that support. Yeah, exactly. 100%.
And you don't hate the haters, you just turn away from them. So they're not even a
Yeah.
player in your story, in your script.
Well, you made it when you have haters, is what they
I
say, right?
suppose so. Still, try not to listen to them. Don't let anybody mess up your story.
Well, I will never, never.
So, what are you doing right now other than your top secret commission?
Well, right now I have a few projects. I'm working on some shoes for some clients. I'm working on a big painting for a collector, which she wanted balloon animals and a graffiti background. So I'm doing that. I have this top secret project I can't talk about,
I know.
but this other,
I can't wait to hear what it is.
oh, I'll text it to you as soon as I can.
Okay.
And then I am working on a company is doing some kind of promo for their YouTube. So I'm actually working on like an animation package through digital art. So I'm working on that as well.
Do you have any regret about making the decision to become an artist?
No, the only regret I have is that I didn't do this sooner. But
Well,
social media wasn't around.
I think, I have this saying that it's always the perfect time. Would you agree with me in saying that you have to be mentally sure about it? And when you're mentally sure, you're emotionally sure. If you have any fear or any serious resistance, that's probably not the best time to forge forward.
Absolutely, Laura. I agree with you 100%. I mean, I saw this quote it was a meme or a quote, and it said, create a goal so big that you can't even achieve it until you grow into the person who can. And that is exactly what you're saying. Exactly. Your mindset has to be on point with your goals and the experience. And if you're not there, you cannot achieve it. Exactly what you said. Mindset is so key to becoming successful.
I agree. You have to see that vision so clearly in your mind that it just has to show up in your reality because
Absolutely.
you have created it so perfectly.
Absolutely. And if I could circle back to the word intention, if I can circle back to that.
Please.
So one thing I've learned as I am a seasoned artist in my career, and I made these mistakes, just recently, but as I grow, I'm learning. And one thing you have to remember is your intention. If your intention is pure and genuine and helpful to others, you will become successful. If your intention is just to make money and that's it, you're gonna stumble. You're gonna close doors. It's your intention has to be good. It has to be pure, positive, and that will open doors for you.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who is considering changing paths later in their life or at any time, really, when they're just about ready, when they want to make it just a complete about face?
Excellent question. I love that question. Um, from my experience, it is about courage. Um, you need to have the courage to say, I can do this. We're all human. We're all going to have that moment of fear. And I've had it. We're all going to have it. So the fear is going to create a bunch of doubt. You can't do this. You're going to affect your family. You can't do it because of this. The timing isn't right. But the timing is never right. You actually just have to dive into it. So if you're at that age, whether you're 50 or 40 or 30 or 20, and you decide you want to go after something, the first thing is to say, I'm going to do it. And you dive into it 100%, regardless of what can happen, and face those obstacles with courage, with faith, and just perseverance. And that is going to open every door. And of course, a strong support system is important.
That's very helpful. But sometimes if you don't have that, you have to be your own support system.
100%. And that is the case for so many people. They don't have that support system. So they have to just go, like you said, they have to go for it. Just do it.
I'm really enjoying this conversation about mindset and intention and decision. A decision is a very powerful word. You can want something, you can long for something, but when you decide that you're going to do it, that's when things really kick into gear. What are your thoughts on that?
100%, Laura. So true. So very true. It's almost as if with that intention, you just open your own doors, and that confidence, that courage, like you said, it just opens doors, and it makes, and everything sort of aligns in place when you're at that point in your life. Everything just comes together.
Well, you
Yeah.
kept your eye on the end goal, not worrying too much about the path there, just trusting.
100%, Laura. 100%.
Pete, thank you so much for sharing your story, and you're inspiring. It's exciting to see your art and watch what you're doing and where you're going.
Thank you. I have so much love for you, Laura. Thank you so much for including me on this project. I'm so honored, and thank you so much, Laura.
We're very blessed.
Very blessed. Amen.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye, Laura.
Fear is what holds us back from being who we can be, who we really are. I know it's not easy. I'm nervous every time I do an interview, every time I post an episode or a mominar, but I just keep doing it. If you can keep your eye on the prize, whatever that means to you, you'll have a better chance of keeping your balance as you move through uncharted waters, even as the unexpected and sometimes the unwanted appear along the way. Just hold your focus where you want to go, and you'll find that those obstacles will move somehow. They always do eventually. It's never too late to start something new. You are always at the perfect time. Thanks for listening today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast, and you will get notified when a new episode is released, which is every Tuesday. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, please give this show 5 stars, and I would love it if you would leave a positive review. Thank you for that in advance. You can find all the information about Pete Castro and links to everything he mentioned in the show notes at howtolife.com/014. You can also find the link to my YouTube channel, How to Life, listed there as well. Comments, questions, requests can be sent to me at drlj@howtolife.com. I read all my mail, and I will get back to you. I hope that you'll meet me here again next time. Until then, have an awesome week. Be well, be kind to yourself and everyone you see. Kindness is always the right answer. And try not to worry about things too much. It's all good. You got this.